What's up, people? I am back. So, before I get to the start of this video, I'm gonna just kind of go through what I'm gonna be doing this week. So, today I am fixing Godzilla 2014. So, this is gonna be something, like I said, this fixing series that I'm gonna do will be it won't be every week, but if I feel like there's a movie that needs to be fixed, like movies I don't like, that I feel like you know what, you can fix this if you went with this, that'll be something I'm gonna be doing. So I'm doing that one today. Tomorrow, close to the 27-year anniversary of the movie, I am reviewing it, basically kind of like a random review. This will be. I am reviewing The Crow, and I'm only reviewing the first one. I'm not reviewing any of the really bad sequels or anything like that. To me, there's only one really truly one, and that was with Brandon Lee. So I'm reviewing that tomorrow. Then on Wednesday, I am starting the Alien franchise. So Wednesday through Friday, basically, I'll be Wednesday I'm reviewing Alien 1, Thursday Aliens, and then Friday Alien 3. And then probably next week will be Alien Resurrection through we'll do Resurrection. Then after Resurrection, I think it'd be Prometheus. I'm not doing the AVP movies. I don't really count those. I'm doing strictly the Alien. I'll eventually do the AVP movies as a separate thing. And then, yeah, for sure, I'll definitely get to... Probably after I'm done with Alien, I'll probably start Predator. So, but that'll be soon, so... It's gonna be fun, man. I can't wait to dive into Alien. That's gonna be fun. So, today, we are fixing Godzilla 2014. You know, because here's the thing. I think this movie could have been really good. But as no disrespect to Gareth Edwards, but saying we gotta do the less is more, not in a fucking Godzilla movie. I am sorry, the whole less is more approach doesn't fucking work in Godzilla. We're watching a movie about giant monsters. We should see them. I will admit there are some good shots in this movie. I think there's some really, the final fight's good. But in my opinion, it gets so much bogged down by what people say about, like, the other Godzilla movies, like King of the Monsters and Godzilla vs. Kong, even. I think, to me, this one has the worst units. You know why? Because they're fucking boring. That is the biggest problem. The biggest issue with this movie really is Aaron Taylor Johnson, and to an extent, well, obviously killing off Bryan Cranston, which I will address, and then we're stuck with fucking Aaron Taylor Johnson and Elizabeth Vol. I am sorry. They are boring. I had no fucking care for any of these characters. So, truly, and the fact that it was like 9 minutes of Godzilla or something in a 2-hour movie. It's so bullshit. And the final fight was cool. That's the only part of the film, to me, I even will watch. I don't want to sit through this whole shit. I actually think the opening is kind of interesting, but then they fucking kill off Bryan Cranston, which is the biggest thing we need. That's going to be the biggest fix. Bryan Cranston should have been the lead from the jump. I never understood. Should have never had a kid. Aaron Taylor Johnson, no disrespect, not a bad actor. I really love him as Kick-Ass, and then Elizabeth Olsen got better. I just don't think she needed to be in this movie. I would have cut out those characters from the jump. It would have just been Bryan Cranston and Ken Watanabe. That was the other thing. Ken Watanabe in this movie was nothing but let them fight, which they say in the trailer. So it doesn't really have that in it. Don't be wrong, it sounds good, but that's all it was for, just for him to say that line. He doesn't do shit in 2014. I can't even really remember what he did, because it was mainly they had to force Aaron Taylor Johnson down your throat. So you couldn't even, they don't even really do anything with it. It should have been Bryan Cranston and Ken Watanabe. Those should have been your two leads. At least in King of the Monsters, they let Ken Watanabe actually have a bigger role. He actually does stuff in that movie. He doesn't do shit here. He was just there to say, let them fight. So, like, the monster stuff, honestly, is not the problem. The monster stuff is mostly the good stuff. It's just how many times they cut away. Oh my god, I was so fucking angry how many times they fucking cut away. If it was like once or even twice, okay. They did it like 3 or 4 times. It's like, fuck you, movie. Like, real. Oh, we're about to see something. No, we got to cut to Aaron Taylor Johnson. Oh, we got to cut to Elizabeth Olsen. It's like, fuck off, movie. Don't show the fight then. At least I'll say the later MonsterVerse movies got better with that. No disrespect to Gareth Edwards, but stop trying to make Godzilla artsy. Godzilla is simple, badass monster fights. And that is the one thing I will say that Godzilla King of the Monsters, and even to an extent Godzilla vs. Kong, get fucking right. They let the monster fights happen. They don't cut away. Ugh. But anyway, this is about fixing. I'm not really... This video isn't supposed to be just me ranting on this movie. So, to fix Godzilla 2014, you just make Bryan Cranston the main character, but him and Ken Watanabe are like partners. And Bryan Cranston... Actually, I like the idea of what they were going with, but then they killed him, was his whole, like, he was the one who kind of discovered the anomaly of what was going on. I would have kept that. I actually like that. Instead of killing him off, I would have had him explore it. Maybe Ken Watanabe doesn't believe it until he sees Godzilla. Like, and when I'm talking about, I'm more changing the human stuff. Because to be honest, the monster stuff is fine. But I would have showed it. I also do think they should have shown the Mutos to be a bit more of a formidable... this is just me. I would have probably changed the Mutos and just... They should have just did a more traditional Godzilla bad guy. That would be the one thing I would have changed. The Mutos were cool, but they were very generic looking. They just looked like the Cloverfield monster, but just alien looking. I would have did like Gigan or something. Or even though they showed Rodan in King of the Monsters, I would have had this movie 24. Okay, this is how I would have did it. You have the Mutos, but they're like the secondary monster. They're not the real threat. Godzilla beats them easily. Then you have like either Gigan, someone like that, just someone who's a good startup monster for him to fight of the original. And maybe they couldn't get the license for those monsters yet. It could be that. But this is obviously, when I do the fixing series, these are just ideas. I understand they're never gonna be done, and I understand there were maybe circumstances they couldn't, like maybe Toho wouldn't license any of the other monsters. Maybe that's why. Because they're like, okay, this is your first movie, so we're not going to license you one of our main monsters, so you have to come up with something like the Mutos. Which is fine. But this is like a hypothetical. This is like an other universe where I got to make the decision. This is what I would have did. I would have went with like someone like Gigan or Rodan. I think Rodan or Guy or not, and Garrus. I think one of those three are a good like start off monster you can do, but they're not too powerful. They're not at the level of obviously like a King Ghidorah or a even a Mecha Godzilla. So, or an Anguirus or a Gigan would have been a perfect, and not Gigan from like not the blue one you see in like Final Wars. Because I think that's like Gigan evolved or something. I'm talking about just like regular Gigan, but just like the green one, but just kind of change the design and make it look interesting. But Bryan Cranston and Ken Watanabe are like the two main characters. And maybe they want to help Godzilla. Maybe they think Godzilla isn't a threat, but the government does. So you have that battle while this is happening. And honestly, I like the way the film ended. You have Godzilla obviously defeat Gigan or Anguirus, whoever, either or, and Godzilla just walks back in the water. I love that shit. I always love that, like, Godzilla defeats the monster and then just walks back in the water. But I think because Bryan Cranston is a good actor, and I think he was strong enough to carry a film like that. I think Aaron Taylor Johnson just didn't have that kind of... He could have been a side character, or if you wanted to, you could keep him there, but he's a side character. He's not the main. I just don't think he can lead a movie like this. That's why I just wasn't into it, and that's what partially makes me like more monsters. And people always bring it up like, well, betray Alien and Jaws. It's like, those movies had good human characters, and you gotta understand those aren't monster movies. Godzilla's a giant monster. you don't need to hide the action. And Godzilla should, even if he's not in every scene, and that's not even what I'm saying, because King of the Monsters, he's not in every scene. You can have the human element, but if they had kept Bryan Cranston alive, and it, like my idea just explained, if it was Bryan Cranston and Ken Watanabe, that movie I'd be like, okay, they're actually interesting human characters I can follow. It's just when they're boring, you just make me okay. Just give me the monster fights because you're boring me. So that's really the only thing that truly needed to be fixed about 2014. Because I mostly said the monster element, besides like it should have been one of the licensed monsters, but I understand maybe Toho felt like this is your first movie. We don't want to give you one of the major ones yet. So, but in hypothetical, yeah, got Ingiris and or Gigan are like good like first monsters Godzilla could have fought. Because I just think the Mutos, even though they try to make it seem like they were a challenge, I never once believed they were. To be honest with you, and I would have kept some of the same shots, like that shot of the army jumping down while Godzilla. That was cool. I love that shot. But it seemed like that's all Gareth Edwards was going for was these cool shots, but not understanding you doing this like, oh, you gotta do the less is more approach. Not in a Godzilla movie. Do more is more. That's how I feel. With these movies, you gotta go all out. So, showcase the city being destroyed, but showcase these monsters and the effects, and that's the movie. Like I said, this movie could be really great. You just gotta change the human element first. That's mainly the one. And you could have still made the Mutos work. But I just felt like I didn't want to just, because this video, but it's really short. If I just said fix the humans, that's it. So, truly, the only way the way I feel like I need to fix this movie is just simple. You make Bryan Cranston and Ken Watanabe the main leads. And they're the ones who stumble upon the monsters, and then they have to try to stop the government from doing something major like a nuke or something. Have one of the bad guys be either Mutos. I just felt like they didn't feel like they were a major threat in that movie. So it would have been nice to just have something a little bit better, like maybe like an Anguirus or a Gigan. I'm gonna lean on Gigan because I think Gigan's a good start off, but he's not a bitch either. So Gigan would have probably been my villain. And honestly, just give it more time, but let the human stuff be interesting. So that's truly the only way you need to fix this movie, because everything else is fine. If you just cut out, you just have Bryan Cranston in there, don't kill him off. Or if maybe you do, kill him off in the end. Like if you want, like a sacrifice, He's trying to get people out and he ends up sacrificing himself for Ken. And that could be his character going into King of the Monsters. So that's what I would change. But overall, I think 2014 could have been really good. So that's my fix it on this movie. I will definitely be doing more of these because I'm kind of enjoying it. Just talking about you could fix this movie if you just did this. And I understand there's a bunch of other channels. There's literally, I think, a channel called Film Fix or something changed. But I'm not trying to brand this. This is just my ideas on this movie that was really shit or it was really bad. I want to see if I can fix it. Yeah. So like I said, the only big fix it with this movie is make Ken Watanabe and Bryan Cranston the lead. So that's my number one. Change the villain from the Mutos to Gigan. I would still have the Mutos there as like a side villain, but not as the main monster. And then that's it, really. Relatively, I'll keep the same ending. I actually like the way it ended. So Godzilla defeats Gigan, and then he walks into the sunset. There you go. So tomorrow it's gonna be fun because I just watched this today, The Crow. So that's gonna be fun to review tomorrow. So we talk about that, and then it's gonna be so fun to start an Alien soon. So. All right, guys. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. But as usual, fuck Warner Brothers, fuck Hank Azaria, fuck Freddie Prinze Jr., and fuck Mortal Kombat 2021. Talk to you guys next time. Peace.